Hi, so I just wanted to pop in before we start this. I was supposed to actually film the time lapse for this via Clip Studio Paint, thus why I'm using Clip Studio Paint today and not Paint Tool SAI. But as you can see, I already made progress on this little illustration of Masaki in this little, I guess it's like the office area, the packing area that I occupy currently. And for some reason, I decided to save it as a PSD instead of a Clip Studio, like a clip file. And it was no longer recording the time lapse. I have it on now because I swapped over to a clip file instead of PSD. But just in case, I'm gonna film basically the screen recording as well because I don't want to lose progress. I thought about it and I was like, do I just restart? Because like I said, I usually keep a duplicate of my sketch, which you can see right here. But I'm already liking the progress I already made on this, so I think I'm just gonna continue. Apologies, you guys didn't get to see what I was doing, But I'll explain a few things right now, just because since I can talk right now, I might as well explain. As you can see, my shading is a little bit more painterly and a little bit blockier for this one, and I didn't realize that I was actually using the same sketching brush that I usually use to paint this, and I actually quite like the texture of it. I don't know if it's like the geometric shapes and stuff. I just like how more painterly it looks. I don't know if you guys can see. So if I use this brush, okay, yeah, if I use this brush, you can see that it's not entirely like, I had my other brush set to like the lowest softness here, so I could get softer edges, and this one's much harsher. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but it's also a little bit less opaque. It's like more markery-ish. But I wanted to show you guys that if I use this brush, you can see I can get more of like a softer... Is this even the right brush? No, I was using this one. Where is it? Soft paint. So if I start using soft paint, you can see how much soft it is, right? And usually I like using this brush because I kind of like being able to render things a little bit more smoothly and stuff, but for some reason I'm really liking this hard edge, so I might continue with it. You'll see, because I think you guys can see my tools on the side. So if you see me using the sketch pen, that's kind of the cause of all of this kind of painterly, more rough-ish style, I guess. I know like a lot of people, or like people who professionally paint digitally and stuff, say that if you want to practice digital painting, you should just use a hard round brush, and I think this is what they mean. It's nice to learn to get shapes to read a certain way without needing to blend things. So yeah, I'm just gonna record the rest in time-lapse mode, and I'll do a voiceover after. See you then. So now that I can do the voiceover, I just want to clarify one thing. When I meant like a hard round brush, my brush isn't quite like that, just because it does have a bit of like transparency, like not full opacity for whatever reason. I think it's just because the nature of the brush itself. So it's not fully like a hard round brush, but it does feel like that because I usually use much more softer brushes when coloring. But let's talk about the drawing, since I didn't really talk about it in the first part. So after receiving the Flexispot desk, like first of all, that desk is like a game changer for me. For me, being stationed at my desk, like in my room, and being stationary for like who knows how long. Like some of you guys ask, like, do you draw all day? And sometimes there are days where I actually like literally draw all day, other than, you know, like use the bathroom, eat food, right? Take a shower, you know, etc., right? But for the most part, I draw from when I wake up before I go to sleep. And being like sat in a position for so long, and I'm only like changing up my legs, because I usually sit on my legs, I sit cross-legged. I basically never have my feet touching the floor for whatever reason. It might be because like I wear, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I wear like biker shorts, so I usually have like a blanket covering my legs, and I feel like, hello, truck? Can we move along? Okay, but because I have the blanket covering, I feel like that's might be the reason why I don't sit with my legs touching the floor anymore. And maybe it's because like my studio days as well, like we usually have like these low stools, so I often sit on my legs. But having the Flexispot desk really helps maintain like a better posture. Like even when I was working while sitting, I feel like I just had a better posture. I don't know if it's because I was downstairs, so like I can't really screw up my posture because of my the chair I have up here, but when I was working downstairs with this desk, it just felt more elevated. It felt better for my posture. Now obviously I do recommend that you get some kind of a stand if you're using a laptop, because often enough your laptop might still be too low. You could adjust the desk to be a little bit higher, but I guess it depends how comfortable your arms are. But the standing feature I really like, because it's gonna be much better for my back when I'm packing orders, because the other desk that I have in that office area is kind of like a coffee desk, and you know how short like coffee desks are, right? So I'm often like squatting or sitting on the floor and crouching a lot, so it's really bad for my back. Like usually my knees feel like they're banged up, and then my back feels like it's aching because I'm curled up so much. But yeah, being able to pack at a higher and more adjustable like position just feels much better. And if I really needed to, I could lower it a little bit so I can do some cutting and raise it back up if I wanted to do more packing at a more reasonable level for myself. So onto the drawing itself. I am drawing Masaki in my office. I do apologize for the mess in there. So a lot of the times when I'm packing orders, it kind of looks like this because of all the scrap pieces of paper and everything kind of like everywhere. I need to find some other way to spruce up the under portion of this office area. I never use like that built-in shelf desk area, just because like when we moved in, my parents immediately put like a fax machine and a printer there because we didn't own any desktops. Like I think the only computers we had was like I had a laptop, my brother had a laptop, and my parents really didn't use a computer. So that's how it usually was. But I wanted to paint over a picture I took of Masaki, or not picture I took of Masaki, a picture I took of the little setup that I had, just because I thought it looked cute to paint over, especially if I add Masaki into it, and I thought it'd be nice to do that because I haven't really painted over like a photo in a really long time. I used to do like these little chibi versions where they would interact with your hands or like on your desk or whatever, kind of like interacting with the environment, but I haven't done one with more like a full body. Now I do have a few regrets. One, obviously not being able to record the first portion. I apologize not showing you guys like the actual first portion of the sketch and laying down of majority of the colors and rendering of the face and some of his clothes. But I don't think you guys missed too much for that part, just because I have so many other speed paints that I do show, or like time lapses that I do show the more like the full process, and this is basically kind of just reiterating it, except for that I'm using a different brush today. I kind of switch between the sketching pen that I have and the soft paint brush that I use, just because I kind of want some softer areas and then I like the hard edge for some of the other ones, so I kind of swap in between. But the second thing I kind of wish I fixed before painting was that Masaki is taller than I am. Like I'm 164 centimeters and I believe I have Masaki sitting at like 179 centimeters. Not sitting at, when he's standing, he's like 179. So he's on the taller side, but not like, you know, super tall. But that means that the desk would have been like, it would have been higher for him to use it comfortably, which is like kind of the reason why I kind of bent his knees just a little bit and made sure that none of his legs were like fully straight, just so that his arms could somewhat touch the desk a little bit more comfortably. I didn't want to bend his elbow right where the desk was because I knew it wouldn't reach because he's much taller than I am. But yeah, I think that's my only gripe for the most part. I decided to add Hansuke on his desk, a little potted plant. I tried to paint in the shelves a little bit to get rid of some of that clutter because I didn't really like it. I think the second shelf from the top looks nice. The other two shelves look a little weird, especially the third shelf. Like the second one from the bottom looks a little weird because I didn't add enough light like bouncing off, so it looks like I painted it weirdly. I think the one that reads the best is the second one from the top. I just added a little bit of like foliage and petals in there, and then now I'm doing little text bubbles, so as if he's kind of like messaging Sato and Koji, who are my other two OCs. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me paint for a little bit and kind of more like a vlog-ish, I don't know, spend the day with me kind of video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I might make more in the future whenever I'm packing like packing orders. Whenever I'm packing orders, I might do more footage like that. So if you guys enjoy it, please let me know. And once again, I highly recommend checking out Flexispot because their desks are awesome, and yeah, really saving my back from being like crippled and becoming a shrimp or a banana for too long. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.